Today, we're going to crack open the playbook for setting up a company in one of the world's most prestigious business hubs, Switzerland. We're going to dig into what makes it such a powerhouse, uncover the tricky challenges that guard the gates, and then map out a clear path to get through them. Ready? Let's dive in. So what is it that makes Switzerland a true fortress for global business? I mean, it's more than just the incredible views, right? It's this unique mix of deep stability, rock-solid credibility, and a long-term vision that has been a magnet for the world's top entrepreneurs for decades. It's time to see what's really under the hood. Okay, first up, let's talk about the foundation of it all, the Swiss advantage. This is the why. Why does it have this incredible global reputation? What's so amazing here is how all these pieces fit together to create this powerful positive feedback loop. You've got a world-class financial hub that's literally built on trust. Then, that trust gets a massive boost from transparent governance and a political climate that is unbelievably stable. And all of that creates a halo effect, giving any company based there an instant shot of credibility on the world stage. It's this perfect cycle that just keeps attracting the best talent and the biggest investors. But beyond that sterling reputation, there's an even more compelling story told by the numbers. And it's a story that doesn't just play out over a few years, but over a whole century. It rewards patience in a way that very, very few markets on Earth can even touch. Just look at this number for a second. Almost 4 million Swiss francs. Let that sink in. This one figure tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the incredible long-term wealth-generating power of the Swiss economy. And here's where that number comes from. If you had invested just 1,000 francs in Swiss shares way back in 1900, it would have exploded to nearly 4 million by 2025. Now just look at that top line for stocks, or actions. See? It's not a perfectly smooth climb. You can see the bumps and dips along the way, but that long-term direction, it's undeniable. It is spectacular. And that is the real tangible result of true economic stability and a currency that's solid as a rock. So, the upside is huge, crystal clear. But a market this valuable is, well, it's not easy to get into. And that's by design. This brings us to what I like to call the mountain of complexity. And here they are, the gatekeepers. Now, it's so important to understand these aren't just bureaucratic red tape. They're actually protective measures. The Swiss residency rule for directors, that ensures someone is accountable right there, on the ground. The tough bank onboarding process, that protects the legendary integrity of their whole financial system. And the need for perfect synchronization, well, it means you can't just check these boxes off one at a time. They all have to move together in perfect harmony, or the whole thing grinds to a halt. This picture, it just says it all, doesn't it? You, the entrepreneur, are right there in the middle, trying to be the puppet master for the notary, the bank, the commercial registry, your lawyers. And if any one of them pulls their string at the wrong time, the whole structure can get wobbly or just fall apart. This coordination puzzle, honestly, it's often the single biggest hurdle for entrepreneurs coming from abroad. But what if you could swap out all those tangled strings for one single solid connection? Well, that's exactly the idea behind finding what you might call a business bridge. The idea is really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. A business bridge becomes your single point of contact, your expert guide who handles all that complexity for you. So instead of you trying to juggle 5 or 6 different people, you have one person, one team, coordinating the entire dance, making sure every single step is efficient and, critically, completely transparent. And here's what that looks like in the real world. It takes all that potential chaos and turns it into a clear, logical plan. It starts with getting expert guidance, then it moves into seamlessly handling all the official legal stuff. It manages that crucial bank deposit, and finally, it connects you to a network of trusted pros. See? Each step just builds on the last, creating a smooth, safe road to launching your company in Switzerland. Of course, any bridge is only as good as its foundation, right? And this kind of deep experience, we're talking over 2 decades in the trenches, that's what gives you the expertise and the contacts to make a process like this actually work. It's the difference between someone handing you a map versus having an expert guide who knows every single shortcut and pitfall on the trail by heart. All right, so we've covered the why, the big challenges, and the strategy behind a streamlined solution. Now let's get down to brass tacks and look at the actual toolkit, the specific services that get you from an idea on a napkin to a fully fledged Swiss company. So, a complete approach usually breaks down into 2 main offerings. Over on the left, you've got company incorporation. Think of this as the master project management for the whole setup. It's the service that handles everything from picking the right kind of company to getting it all registered. Then, on the right, you have the Resident Director Service. This is the magic key that solves that residency problem we talked about. It provides the legally required Swiss representative for your company's board and makes sure you're compliant with all the important rules, like AML and KYC, that's anti-money laundering and know your customer regulations. You know, what's really great about a model like this is just how transparent it is. The pricing for a resident director is often tiered based on how much revenue your company is making. A structure like this makes it totally accessible for a brand new startup, but it also scales in a way that's fair and predictable as you grow into a much bigger business. It's a framework that's really designed to grow with you. And hey, speaking of transparency, let's talk about the other costs you'll run into. Because to really plan your launch into the Swiss market, you absolutely have to see the full, unvarnished picture. Because, success in a top-tier market like this isn't just about having a brilliant idea. It's about careful, meticulous financial planning. Knowing all the costs up front isn't just nice to have. It is absolutely essential if you want to avoid surprises that could throw your whole launch off track. Now, the really important thing to understand here is that these are typical estimates for outside services. These are not part of the main coordination fee. These are the costs for your partners, the notaries, the lawyers, your fiduciary, which is the firm that manages your books and finances. Having this full list lets you build a realistic, complete budget for your entire project with no hidden costs. This image really just nails the whole idea. Setting up a company in Switzerland is a complex job with a lot of moving parts. It demands a tool that's versatile, that's reliable, and that has exactly what you need for each specific problem, all packed into one tidy solution, kind of like this iconic Swiss Army knife. It's all about finding an elegant answer for a complex task. So there you have it. We've looked at the immense potential, we've stared down the mountain of complexity, and we've laid out a clear, structured path to get you through it. And that leaves us with one final, very important question for you to think about. With its unmatched stability and global prestige, is building a bridge to Switzerland the right move for your business's future?